And welcome back. And welcome back, folks. Welcome back to episode 3 of series 8, Back to the Red Dwarf, part 3. We finally made it to the end of this little trilogy. If you didn't see the other ones, check them out. Episode 45 and 46 on the podcast. You can check those out. We have those covering the first 2 parts, but this one is directed by Ed Bye, written by Doug Naylor, released the 4th of March, 1999. So let's get into a summary. And this is a short summary because like I said, we're running on the last 2 episodes. Episode 1, we exited, we had the Red Dwarf crew back to life, and all of a sudden Rimmer was getting access to personal confidential files and those positive viruses. Then, last time, we found out that most of the crew is in the middle of a psychotropic episode, an AR, while they basically are being followed around by the crew as part of their trial. Now, our summary here, Lister, Kachansky, Cat, and Crichton try to flee Red Dwarf in a blue midget and try to find the nanobots to prove their version of events to be true. Rimmer intervenes to try and save his own neck and messes everything. Now let's break this down. So, leaving off where we were, they're in the middle of a psychotropic trial. So we open back in the top secret prison on floor 13. We're only 1 day in, and Rimmer's complaining to Lister as they go back into their bunk. Rimmer apparently has gotten beat up by the social worker and the priest in this place. They find themselves, they have a letter, blindfolds for privacy in the restroom, a Gideon's Bible. These are their little welcome packets, too. Rimmer is whinging about how life has derailed. According to Rimmer, stuck in a place where nowhere people are so unbalanced and debauched, they couldn't even get elected president of the United States. That's what he thinks of the prison population. I don't think he's thought low enough. I'm not going to say anymore. Rimmer is all about, we have to escape. Lister, they can't. Security is everywhere. Rimmer is now mad about his lousy lawyer. Lister reminds him that you were your own lawyer. And now they're stuck here for 2 years. And while they're doing this, Rimmer puts on the blindfold that says engage and sits on the toilet, which Lister thinks that probably was meant for me. They cut back to 2 days earlier. Captain Hollister does his recap of the previous episode. They've been placed in artificial reality. They're doing the whole Dibley family to try and escape. Captain comments on Rimmer too that he's one of the least able of the crew, and he's been acting suspicious and being very insightful. He suspects he has access to the confidential files. Captain also wants these viruses he suspects of him having as well, mainly for himself. He sees, he knows about the crotch numbing too. Suspects Lister may have given him access to the confidential files. A technique, he does say it's a technique that can work. That's how he became captain. He does not want to return to being Dennis the Donut Boy ever again. Back in the fake escape, the crew, the Dibley family, have escaped. They're trying to steal one of the blue midgets. They get interrogated by the ground control crew. And they says, what name should I give him? He says Major Tom, which of course is a reference to the David Bowie's Space Oddity song. Kat is super attracted to one of the ground control personnel, played by Yasmin Bannerman, who I know from Doctor Who, and he flirts with her. He then goes outside, and oh my gosh, this is too much. This is how you should have known that they really weren't in the real world. He goes out there and he manages to get the blue midgets to all dance and sequence him. Which, by the way, is the best dance bit they've had, and a little bit over the top since Tongue Tied way back in the day. But it is a level commitment to the bit, I'll give them that. So over the top fact that they don't know it's a hallucination, I don't know how, like I said. They then appear to escape in the ship, and Rimmer is now using information to get past guards to the AR simulator. Once he's in there, he finds the crew in their AR situations. Crew thinks they're escaping. Apparently, the Scudders have decided to tag along with them. Rimmer sees them. He accesses the computer and starts deleting all references to their deal. However, when he starts doing this editing, it becomes very noticeable in the AR. Dave and the others begin to notice. Even Holly and Crichton figures out. He goes, oh no. And Lister finally puts together that it was on the envelopes. Lister says this proves their story, though. Rimmer continues to mess with them in there. Rimmer now manipulating the program. Lister knows it's Rimmer too. Crichton says they need to find the back door to escape. And the cat magically finds it, E11T, which, if you use the Roman numeral, which I don't know how the cat does, 11 is XI, so is exit. They do it. They exit, but somehow they end up in a claymation version of themselves. They're still looking for the escape, and somehow the cat figures it out again. It's a ketchup bottle. They exit. Rimmer still working the computer. They then force Rimmer to start groveling as he tries to tell him why he did this. The sexual magnetism, though, he has taken is causing Chris to basically go into heat. They're all trying to hold her back. Rimmer takes the luck virus, and apparently it undoes it just as Chris's attraction, and then she gets grossed out. Now they really are on the run. Rimmer is in tow now. His access to the confidential files is something they need. They have to sort of sell him on joining them while they're on the lift. He gets to be the head of safety and access to 5 buttons, and he's in. They make their way to another blue midget, just like they did last time. The controller is not as attractive as Kat saw her in the original fantasy, and reality kind of sucks for him. They make their escape again, think they are in the clear. Crichton upset about their low supply of fabric softener. Rimmer can't remember the theory of relativity. No one else can either. Not even Holly. And then they have another debate, of course, about Holly's IQ. Keep Dave, and then they realize that apparently the nanobots brought back the whole crew this time to help keep Dave sane. Figured out that, but then they somehow along the way figure out that they must still be in the AR simulation. And this is because the other Holly on Red Dwarf has outsmarted them. This Holly with this more egghead shape. So I guess Holly is he was supposed to be. Apparently, Rimmer ended up joining them when he also licked the envelope, as we saw earlier with the captain's invite. So the interesting thing is that the captain and this egghead Holly have a sort of discussion. They're actually innocent of the original charges, using but they get a new charge for using classified information. And like I said, Rimmer was also under the drugs. And they, once again, the original 2-year sentence is canceled. They simply get a new 2-year sentence. Brought out of the AR, still have the virus. The captain walks in and takes away, but he only gets the luck one. Apparently they sneak away and hand off the sexual magnetism one to Lister, which the captain's really upset about that. He really wanted that one. Rimmer, God, he's just Rimmer. They're all sentenced in a lineup like the usual suspects. Holly is basically going in with them and off to floor 13, where we saw them last time. And then while they're lined up down below, Lister does the little sneaking back away from Rimmer, and the other mates squeeze in on him as he sneaks off. End episode. So there we are. Next time we will continue their adventures with Cassandra. But until then, please like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff. Write us in the description below or in the ticker. We want to hear from you guys. Give us some input. Give us some feedback. We love to hear from you. As I've said, I'm doing many different things here on the YouTube channel, primarily focused around TV shows. I'm basically going to probably end up going through all the TV shows that I'm nostalgic for. But then I'll be going on to do more, so you never know. I'm looking for suggestions further down the line. So, as I've said previously, you can reach us at notfunnyguys.offthereels@gmail.com. Tell me about things. I know we'll be doing Blackadder, but I'm going to interrupt it with probably some news radio. We'll do Brockmire. One day I hope to get to the level of doing Babylon 5. That will be a real challenge, but a real treat. I'm actually secretly looking forward to that. Only because it's one of my favorite, and I think one of the greatest sci-fi shows ever conceived. That's right, Star Trek fans. Come for me. But if you want to take in some of our other Not Funny Guys products, we have our main podcast, Not Funny Guys Presents Off the Reels, where we mainly talk movies. That's mainly everything. We usually go through some series. Right now, we are going through the Jurassic Park films. So you should check those out. We do have a Christmas special. You should check that out. That's Casey's idea. Don't blame me for that. That's all I'm going to say. If you see it, you know you know. If that's not your cup of tea, we also have... So we're doing the Jurassic Park films through the new year. We also have Casey and Eric, my Not Funny Guys co-hosts. They do their podcast, Not Funny Guys Presents Wrestling with the Horror of It All, where they do WWE, sorry, wrestling mainly, and horror movies. A little combo there. And if that's not your cup of tea, we do have another podcast that will be coming up with our season 2. We have 30 episodes of season 1 up already, but starting in the new year, we'll be bringing back season 2 of Not Funny Guys Presents Thinking About Thinking with myself, Dr. John, and our Not Funny gal, Dr. Kristen. We'll be continue our discussion about things we are thinking about, which kind of goes all over the place. We have fun discussions and topics and movie references and all kinds of stuff gets pulled into it. It's a sort of smorgasbord of, like I said, things we're thinking about. But until then, remember, don't be a smeghead, keep it not funny, and I'll see you next time. I'm going to really emphasize that until I hurt myself, just like Rimmer.